you're going to want to write down. You're going to write down this formula right here. The period is equal to 2 pi divided by b. Now, I'm going to add something in here. You can write it like this, or you can just remember that the period is always positive. Okay, the real formula actually has absolute value in here, but this confuses everybody for some reason. I don't understand why it confuses everybody, but it just means make it positive, right? The period is always positive. Now, what is B? Well, a sinusoidal equation will look like this. Where this is the what? Do you remember what that told us? We just did the assignment. That's the amplitude, right? What's this? Okay. The way that you can remember it is amplitude starts with an A, right? Mid line has a D in it. This is what we're talking about for B. B is the number that's in front of the X in any sinusoidal equation. Okay, C is not important, but what it really is a horizontal shift in the whole thing. Anyway, B is right here. Sometimes it looks like this, where it has a number and a pi with it. Sometimes it's just a number. Okay, we're going to take that and plug it into our formula here in a second. All right, so let me zoom back out, undo some stuff. Our formula for this problem would look like this: 2 pi divided by 4 pi. Yeah, we're going to make it positive. See that? Now, these fractions always freak people out. And it's part of the reason why you might be struggling on some of the ones from the graph too, right? We see pi and we see a fraction. We're not real good at subtracting those or multiplying it. But when this happens, when you have a pi over pi, guess what? Cancel. Then just reduce any fraction left over. So this period is a half. And then we're done. Okay, but this is the formula you need. The period of the graph is this. The reason that's the formula is because if you don't change anything, if you graph just a regular function like regular sine function, the period is how far? It's 2 pi. It starts here, it goes up, back to the middle, down, then back to the middle. And this point where it repeats is 2 pi. So just like the unit circle, if you go all the way around the unit circle, you remember we talked about radians? In degrees, it was 360, right? That was one trip. In radians, that's 2 pi. It's one full trip on our unit circle. That's the same thing with this sine graph. Okay? Now let's go back. We have a half. Let's do another one. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to use this formula for the period. 2 pi divided by the absolute value of b. What is b in this equation? It's just 5. So sometimes it's going to be a number. Sometimes it's going to have a pi in it, so on. Can we reduce 2 over 5? No, we can't, right? So that's our answer. 2 pi over 5. Let's do one more. I want to get to one where there's a fraction, and this is perfect. This is one that freaks everybody out. We're going to say 2 pi over pi over 2. Whoa. Funky. First of all, you can cancel the pi's. But remember, there's really a 1 here, right? It's like a half. That's what that is. So what do we have? We have 2 divided by a half. What is 2 divided by a half? Okay. Is it 4 or is it 1? Or is it 2? It's 4. What you're asking yourself is how many halves go into 2, right? Another way to do it is to flip in times. Remember what we did earlier in the year? Flip and multiply. Flip that thing and multiply. It's flipping times because we're dividing by a fraction. So the period here is just the whole number 4. Sometimes you'll have a number like this. Sometimes you'll have like the first one we did where the pi's cancel. Sometimes you'll have a pi in your answer. But the period should always be positive. Yeah, and it should always be positive. So we have two things, the amplitude and the period. They are always positive. The reason is they're measuring a distance somewhere on the graph. The amplitude is the vertical distance from the middle. The period is the horizontal distance. All right, that's all. It's the last thing.